Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing amazing. I hope you've had a really good weekend. We're on Monday. I'm going to upload this tonight, so you'll see it on a Monday night. So I thought for today's video we could do what I spoke about in my last video about, I think it's been about 2 weeks now, hasn't it? Just where I was talking about how I would go over kind of the brace journey from where I started to now, where we are now. So if it's something you're interested in, great. If you're thinking about getting them done, great. If not, it's just a ramble video that you can keep on in the background. Okay, so where did we start? So I did have braces briefly when I was younger, but I kind of didn't stick it out and I didn't do the whole process. So I decided as an adult I was going to go back and kind of do the whole process. So it started this year, I would say in about March. I went to one orthodontist and it just to get quotes and things. Like a lot of the, I don't know about other places, but in the UK a lot of the orthodontists will say come in, we'll either just do a free quote, or we will do like the full x-rays and do a complete write-up of kind of timescales and things. That might cost £100, but if you decide to go ahead with it, that will then be taken off the cost of the whole thing. So I went to two places. I went to one initially that they just kind of have a look, the orthodontist has a look around and they say, okay, this is a price quote, this quote will be valid for 6 months, and it will take roughly this amount of time, and just tell you if they're going to take any teeth or anything, but they don't do any x-rays, but it's free. That part of the process is free, and so your quote is locked in for 6 months if you decide to go with them. So I went to one place like that, and then I went to another place where you pay £100 up front and it would be taken off if I decided to go with them, but they do all the x-rays and the scans and stuff at that point, and they both kind of came up with the same thing. So the first one I went to wanted to take kind of the 4 premolars, and I know that is a controversial topic with a lot of people, but they want to take the 4 premolars and then fix braces. The second one I went to wanted to take the 4 premolars. He also wanted to take a back molar because he said that where my wisdom tooth was, he thought that that would come through. So he just wanted to take the molar out at the back and let the wisdom tooth come through. And I kind of mulled over the two for quite a while. But I was like, I don't really want to take any more teeth than what I have to out, and my tummy's grumbling. It was kind of my tummy and my throat. I don't want to take out any more than what I have to take out, and given that like taking a molar out at the back and just hoping that the wisdom tooth comes through, to me is a little bit like, what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't come through? So I wasn't massively keen on that idea. And I also wasn't keen on getting the premolars on the top taken out, because when I had the braces when I was younger, they weren't going to do that. So they was going to remove the 2 premolars on the bottom, but they were going to keep the 2 premolars on the top. So I spoke to both of them actually. The second one I didn't really get a clear answer from, but the first one that I went to see, they were like, if you don't want them taken out on the top, like we will still treat you, we'll still go ahead and we'll still keep the teeth in on the top if that's what you want to do. But there was like the orthodontist just reviewed it and he said, we can do that, we'll do that. He's happy to do that if that's what you want to do. But he doesn't think that you will like the end result, like when they're finished, and he's treated it best he can with all the teeth. he doesn't think that you will like it, but if that is what you want to do, because in the UK, some dental is NHS, others classed as cosmetic, and you go private. So it depends who you're seeing and stuff, and what orthodontist you can get and things. But yeah, he was basically saying, I don't think you'll like it, but if that's what you want to do, we can go ahead with it. So I kind of ummed and ahed with it for quite a while, and I came to the decision that I was going to go with the first orthodontist, the one that had agreed to keep the premolars, but I was going to get the premolars taken out. I kind of really came to that conclusion because the orthodontist that, like my orthodontist that's doing my treatment, he kind of he did his training, and he worked for quite a while at one of the hospitals in my city that kind of like one of the dental training centres, the dental schools and the complex cases hospital is basically the dental hospital where people get sent to, complex cases go to and things, you know. And he's been doing it a long time, and just his willingness to do it with the other tooth, but saying like, I don't think you're gonna like it, kind of made me think, well, he's not just pulling it for the sake of it. He's saying to me, we'll do it if you want, but this is not gonna look good. So I went a bit back and forth, and I met him again anyway, and I decided, yeah, I'm just going to get the 4 premolars pulled, because my kind of understanding of it is, if you've got a slight overcrowding or a slight overbite or something like that, and they're just removing it for the ease of, just to speed up the process, then fair enough, I get why you wouldn't want to get them out. But if you've got too many teeth in your mouth, again, I've heard the whole thing where it changes your side profile, things like that. But if you've got too many teeth in your mouth, in my opinion, it's not going to have a negative effect removing them, because it's still going to fill the whole space in your mouth. I get when you're younger, you can expand your jaw and you can sort of change that aspect of things. I'm not younger, I'm not 15 getting braces, so, but again, each to their own, but I am happy with my decision. So that was in, I think, March, April time. So I finally got the ball rolling. I was supposed to go and see the orthodontist in August, but he had to cancel. So that's fine, and it got changed to September, but I was on holiday, and so they had to change it, and then they had to change it again because the orthodontist had a few funerals that he had to go to. Can't be helped, can it? So I saw him, no, yeah, it was in September. I think they just changed the date of it in September, and I went in, and you have to make sure all your fillings and like just general dental health is up to date. So as long as all your general dental is up to date, your fillings, because the orthodontist doesn't deal with any of that. So you have to go to your dental checkups every 6 months, make sure your fillings, your just general dental things are in order, and they just deal with the braces kind of thing. So I'd had a recent checkup, that was all okay. And I went and took my x-rays to them, because the other orthodontist that I had paid the £100 to get the x-rays and stuff, I got a copy of my x-rays, and they don't like to do more than one set of x-rays per year because of the radiation exposure. So I took them x-rays, I said, yep, that's fine. And I booked in to get my extractions done. So the extractions, again, aren't done by the orthodontist. They send a letter to your dentist to tell them which ones to extract. I went to my dentist and said, I need these 4 teeth extraction. My orthodontist has sent you a letter, They couldn't get me in for a month. and I spoke to the orthodontist who had me booked in for the 7th of October to fit the braces, but they couldn't fit the braces till the teeth were removed. So they had me in for the 7th of October to fit the braces, and this is like the 3rd week in September, and my dentist couldn't get me until after the 7th. I think it was like the 14th or 15th, and they do it in 2 sets. So if you're getting sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 done, they'll do usually one side of the mouth and then the other side of the mouth. They tend not to numb a complete jaw, like either top or bottom, just so for chewing and, you know, general reasons. They tend to not numb a whole jaw, and obviously not both jaws at the same time. So I spoke to the other dentist, and they said you can just ring around as many dentists in your area and just ask them, could you fit me in for some extractions? So I did, and I found a dentist, and they were like, yeah, that's fine, we can get you in next week. We'll get you in on the Tuesday and we'll remove 2, and we'll get you in on the Wednesday and we'll remove the other 2. So I was like, okay, that's fine, yeah, that suits me. So I went in, and they shouted me, and I went into the dentist chair, and I was sat in the room, and the dentist kind of looked at me and he was like, okay, hi. I was like, hello. He was like, what can I do for you today? I was like, oh, you're taking a couple of teeth out. And he was like a young guy. He was like really nice. He looked like he went to the gym, which made me feel better, because I thought, if somebody's pulling my teeth out, that's what you want, right? You want a bit of strength behind them, was my thinking. Anyway, I want somebody that can get them out with ease and it not be, you know, too traumatic. So the guy suited it perfectly. And he was just like, oh, okay then, yeah, that's fine. What teeth am I removing? And I was like, oh wow, okay. I do not have the letter. My other dentist sent the letter through, and he was kind of just, I had no idea what was going on. So I found the letter on my phone, and he just looked and he's like, yeah, okay, which ones do you want me to remove today? And I was like, okay, this side, and if you can. He's like, yeah, no problem. And so he did that side. It was all in and out, honestly, within me going into his dental room, him numbing it, him getting the teeth out, him giving me the aftercare, and me leaving the room to go and pay was 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. He was really quick. Yeah, so that was done. I thought, oh, that's easy, that's fine. And so the next day I went in for the other 2 to be taken out. The only thing that I didn't like about it is, so when they were doing this side, he took the one at the top out, and he didn't have a dental assistant in the room. It was just me and him. So he took the top one out. He had numbed both top and bottom, and he took the top one out. Because what he was doing, he was putting all the numbing in, so both top and bottom was numb, and then he was just pulling one out and then just pulling the other one out. So he pulled that top one out, but he went to get some gauze to kind of stuff it, you know, so it wasn't bleeding. And I could feel the blood dripping from it onto my tongue while he was trying to find the gauze. So that was the most unpleasant part about it. And then the bottom one that he removed, I would say that was the hardest one that he did. That wasn't a great experience, but again, was in and out within 10-15 minutes again. So 4 teeth removed within half an hour, including all the numbing of 4 sides. You know, he was good. So that was done, that was fine. That was on the Tuesday and the Wednesday. And then I went on the following Monday to get my braces fitted. When they were arranging the appointment to get my braces fitted, they did say we kind of normally leave a 4 week minimum between the 2 sets of extractions, and then a week after to get the braces fitted. So normally we would sort of be looking at a 2-3 week time scale. I kind of got that done over like 5-6 days. So the first week of having my braces fitted was pretty rough. Just purely because I couldn't eat on either side because I still had the holes from my teeth, and then all the rest of my teeth hurt because of the braces. So for the first week, your mouth is pretty tender and pretty sore when you kind of bite your teeth together. I didn't have that so much just because I don't know if you can see the brackets. So these brackets on my bottom teeth, my top teeth here hit these brackets before my back teeth touch. So I don't have the problem of my teeth being sore when I bite because I can't shut my teeth anyway. But it's fine. We just get on with it. And then my braces were on for 2 weeks, and that was last week on the Thursday. I went in for what they call a TPA, which is a piece of metal that goes from my back molars, my second to back molars, across the roof of my mouth, and it just anchors on to these back 2 molars basically, and just goes across the roof of your mouth. And it's just a piece of metal that just holds them in place. That's essentially all it does. But you can hear, I don't know if you can hear, you might have heard it then. I have my tongue pierced and it does knock on it. Can you hear that? So it does hit the bar like on the roof of my mouth quite often, and I have got it caught on it a couple of times. So I think I might change the bar to just kind of a retainer, a plastic retainer for a little bit. The TPA that I have on the top of my mouth, I only have to keep in for 6 months, and then they remove that. You don't have to have a manual mold, it is done with a scan. I know sort of back in the day they used to use the molds, didn't they, that made people sick. You don't have to have that. They just do it with a scan. That's the same for everything. It's just been a scan, a digital scan. I haven't had to have any molds or anything done. Yeah, so that's where we are up to now. When I did go in and they did the TPA last Thursday, they did change the wires on my braces and they asked me what colour I wanted on. I did have the black. I don't really know if you can tell the difference now, but I just have silver on now. So I had the black taken off, I just have silver on. They changed the wires. It does feel like they're trying to pull all your teeth out. Like when they're doing it, they're so rough. Like it feels like it feels like they're going to cause some damage, but they don't. Fingers crossed. So yeah, so that's done. I go back in about 3 weeks, I think it is. I go back in 3 weeks. And again, they're going to change the wire again. And that's kind of where you are from this point now. So I go back every 4 to 5 weeks, depending on the last appointment and what the orthodontist says. And he just changes wires the whole way through now for as long as you kind of have the braces on. That's just the process. It's just going to be changing wires. They did say it may be like a little bit sore for the first few days of changing the wires, but other than that, you kind of home dry now. So that's it, really. I do feel like my talking is getting a lot better than what it was. I did really have quite like a strong lisp, but it's not, I do still have it a bit, but it's not on all of my S words. It's certain sounds, like shark I can say normal, so the sh sound I can say normal, but the stop, it's certain S sounds that I struggle with. But yeah, we'll get there. So on that note, I hope you've enjoyed my ramble on my braces process. I might start taking photos and do like a beginning to end process as we're going through, like a progression thing. I don't know, possibly. Okay, I hope you have an amazing night, and I look forward to seeing you in my next